Lists of mainstream and obscure musical instruments. Chapter 1. Lists of mainstream musical instruments. tricoli.org/en/arts/music/instruments. There are 22 subcategories. You can click a letter from to A to Z to link to musical instrument website lists. Find a list of musical instruments at en.wikipedia.org/wiki/list_of_musical_instruments. They have a big list. A list of musical instruments at alphabetical-lists.com/topics/music/alphabetical-list-of-musical-instruments. A. Accordion, acoustic guitar, agogo bells, alp horn, Appalachian dulcimer. B. Bagpipes, balalaika, bandoneon, banjo, baritone horn, bass clarinet, bass drum, bass guitar, bass trombone, bassoon, berimbau, bodin, bongos, bouzouki, bugle. C. Cajon, castanets, celesta, cello, Chapman stick, clarinet, clavichord, conga drums, contrabassoon, cor anglais, cornet, cuica, cymbals. D. Def, darbuka, didgeridoo, djem, dobro, double bass, drum kit, dulcimer. E. Electric guitar, erhu, euphonium. F. Fiddle, flexitone, flute, French horn. G. glockenspiel, goblet drum, gong, grand piano, gahan. H. handpan, harmonica, harp, harpsichord, heckelphone, hurdy-gurdy. I. J. K. kalimba, kazoo, keyboard, kora, koto. L. lute, lyre. M. mandolin, maracas, marimba, mbira, melodica. N. ni, nickel harpa. O. oboe, ocarina, octobass, organ. Oud. P. pan flute, pandero, piano, piccolo, pipa. Q. R. recorder. S. saxophone, shamisen, sitar, snare drum, steel drum, synthesizer. T. tabla, taiko drum, tambourine, theremin, timpani, tin whistle, triangle, trombone, trumpet, tuba, tubular bells. U. ukulele. V. vibraphone, viola, violin. W. X. xylophone. Z. zither. Chapter 2. Lists of little-known musical instruments. Offbeat musical instruments/obscure musical instruments. Some people create their own musical instruments. I saw a group with instruments made out of fruits and vegetables. Most instruments can be seen on a video at youtube.com. Here is a list of a few obscure musical instruments. Dradio, a homespun theremin. Eigenharp. Electric violin. Electroencephalophone, a device that converts brainwaves into sound. Happy drum, a steel drum with a hole in the base. Hydraulophone, water flows out holes in the instrument and the player uses his fingers to block or divert each stream, triggering internal mechanisms that produce sound. Ocarina, iPhone application. Using the phone's built-in movement sensors and touch screen, your phone becomes either a wholly keyed instrument or a kind of flute. Samchilyan, keyed instrument, with each key representing a relative, not fixed, note. Beat bearing, the BB triggers the timing of pre-selected types of percussion. Tenorion. Tone matrix. Unusual instruments at awesomestuff365.com/unusual-musical-instruments-u-kin-by. Dulcimer. Kalimba. CRWTH. Pan flute. Viol. Ranat thumb. Russian vargan. Morin kuur. Japanese koto. Viking violin, tal harpa. Balalaika. Theremin. Stylophone. Tongue drum. Duduk. Ocarina. Hurdy-gurdy. Gem. A list of weird instruments at hellomusictheory.com/learn/weird-instruments. Erhu. The erhu is a small Chinese bowed string instrument with Mongolian origins, dating back at least 3 millennia. Sarangi. A strange rectangular wooden box instrument with 3 strings played with a bow or plucked like a guitar. It's a traditional Indian instrument. Cymbalum. It looks like the inside of a baby grand piano, as many as 125 strings running the length of a wooden box resting on 4 legs. Dates back to Hungary in the Middle Ages. Picasso guitar. 42-string guitar. Theremin. Invented in 1919 by Leon Theremin, the theremin generates radio frequencies from 2 antennae attached to its body that are controlled by the left and right hand of the player, modulating the pitch and volume of invisible strings to generate an eerie sound. Glass harmonica. Invented in 1761 by Benjamin Franklin. Handpan. A convex-shaped semisphere of steel is strategically dented to create tone zones. The player uses both hands and all digits to sound myriad notes to create a unique sonic landscape. Hydraulophone. Underwater instrument. Nickel harpa. The nickel harpa is a combination of bowed instrument and keyed instrument, which is why it's called a keyed fiddle in Sweden. Chapman stick. An electric bass guitar and guitar combined with the added feature of texture generation via separate pickups for MIDI signals to be sent to trigger electronic instruments like synthesizers and sound modules. The yabahar. Combining a vertical cello-like fingerboard with 2 steel strings, 2 drum head resonators and springs joining the vertical fingerboard and the drum skins, the yabahar can play most styles of music, from classical pieces to modern rock and pop tunes. Gravichord. Invented in 1986 by Robert Grawe, the gravichord is a stainless steel tubing, nylon, and synthetic fiber instrument with a dual harp configuration sporting 24 strings. Akonting. Originating in West Africa, the akonting is a rustic 3-string lute. Portative organ. Made up of a keyboard, steel pipes, and bellows. The player presses the keys with one hand while the other activates the bellows. Indian jaw harp. A thin steel reed fastened to a metal or bamboo body is placed between the player's lips and plucked rapidly. Musical saw. By bending a saw blade, you can create a sweet sound. Didgeridoo. Aboriginal Australia. Ocarina. A small flute. Unusual musical instruments at carvedculture.com/blogs/articles/unusual-musical-instruments. Gobaiyeu. Stringed musical instrument from India. Erhu. The erhu is a type of violin but looks very different from a conventional model. It features a drum resonator on the bottom of the instrument, can be played as a solo instrument or used as part of a small or large orchestra. Tarka flute. The hand-carved Peruvian tarka flute. Shimdeko. The shindeko is a small drum with broad drum heads. This drum is played with baki. Indian bulb horn. Brass and natural rubber vintage horn from India. Daisy. The daisy is a traditional Chinese flute. Ruan. The ruan is a type of lute with a fretted neck, a circular body and 4 strings. Rhindic bunga xylophone. To play the Rhindic xylophone use the beaters provided. Ocarina pendant. Woodwind instruments handmade from clay and koto. The koto is a half-tube zephyr instrument regarded as the national instrument of Japan. These instruments usually have 13 strings and several moving bridges. Shamisen. The shamisen is a 3-string instrument that is often used to support the kabuki. It has a small sound box, a long, thin neck with no frets, and traditional models would use dog and cat skin for the resonating body. Cha-cha bracelet. Lima nut wrist bracelet. Made of nuts and colorful beads in Peru. Sonajas shaker. The sonajas shaker is made from straw and metal. Veena. This is a chordophone instrument that is helped for the lute and the arched harp. It has a large, hollow body, 4 melodic strings and 3 auxiliary strings, and is played with a mixture of plucking and strumming motions. Sarangi. A sarangi is a short, bow and stringed instrument which has the innate ability to mimic the human voice. Damaru. Twist drum from India. Hichiriki. Double-reeded Japanese flute. The tonkari is a plucked string instrument that is constructed in the shape of a sword. Thunder drum. A pipa is a stringed instrument modeled after the lute and is often called the Chinese lute. The guzheng, or the instrument of the sages, is a long, 7-string, plucked instrument played in ancient Chinese culture. The sangxian is a lute-style instrument with a substantial, fretless neck, 3 strings and a small body commonly made from snakeskin. The yangqin is a complex xylophone. The sun is an egg-shaped instrument traditionally made from clay or bone and has been present in Chinese culture for over 7,000 years. The liukin is known as the Chinese mandolin. A kaksiksi shaker is a hand-woven basket-shaped music percussion instrument filled with small pebbles and seeds. Usually made from rattan and originating in Ghana, Africa. The suana, otherwise known as a lada or Haiti, is a double-seated horn. This is typically formed from brass or copper and can produce a distinctive high-pitched and loud sound. The banjo is a distinctive-looking 2-string lute-style instrument that looks like a key thanks to its long neck and 2 protruding tuning keys at the top. The gong is a large hanging cymbal typically made from bronze or brass. The huqin, or the Chinese spike fiddle, is a member of the bow-played instrument family. Erxian is a bowed stringed instrument that has 2 strings, a small round sound box and a neck made typically from hardwood with a dragon head design. The sitar is a plucked instrument that usually has 21 strings, 2 bridges, is often made of teak and has featured in popular Western music. Tabla is a pair of handmade drums, one smaller than the other. The tambura is a long-necked string instrument that is similar in shape to a lute or a banjo. The didgeridoo was originally developed in Australia, 1,500 years ago. The dholak is a drum made with a mix of buffalo skin, goat skin, and mango wood. Rumbai I bamboo giro rasp. It's long, and by definition it is a musical instrument with a serrated surface which gives a rasping sound when scraped with a stick. The mridangam is a long percussion instrument not too dissimilar to a bongo. The dal drum offers a middle ground between the dholak and the tabla. Shamanic drums and rattle shakers. A shipibo shaker is a tribal shaker from South America. A bansuri is a bamboo flute that is played sideways and is often heard within Indian classical music. The ghatam, otherwise known as the water jug, is a percussion instrument synonymous with Punjab music. The kanjura or the South Indian frame drum is a form of tambourine with a single pairing of jingles and is often played to support the percussion of a mridangam. Khal is a 2-sided terracotta drum with 1 large drum head and 1 tiny one. Shakuhachi is an end-blown flute traditionally made of bamboo. The biwa is a pear-shaped, lute-styled instrument. Taiko is a broad term for any traditional Japanese drum. Nutun is a Japanese flute that is made from bamboo. Vietnamese lotus claquer features a handle and 3 parts that have been carefully crafted, carved, and hollowed. When hit by a stick the sound is unusual, the instrument as a whole is strong. The shinobu is a Japanese flute that is best known for its unique high-pitched sound. The tsuzumi is an hourglass-shaped Japanese drum with 2 drum heads and a series of cords that can be pulled tight or let loose to alter the drum's tone. The sanshin is a Japanese banjo. The kako is a traditional Japanese drum often laid on its side, supported by two stands. The wooden fish is a percussion instrument also known as a temple block used by monks in East Asia.